Hello, Commanders, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous Return from Beagle Point. Today's topic of discussion will be time management. But before we do all of that, as always, I would like to welcome all of the new viewers who are joining us today. The purpose of this journey has been to increase our exobiology rank up to the elite status, as well as hopefully make enough money to purchase a fleet carrier that we can then take back out into the black with all of our ships and do all kinds of cool stuff. We are currently located here in the galaxy. We made our way all the way out to Beagle Point over here. Our journey started from way over here in the bubble. We did visit Sagittarius A star, the black hole at the center of the galaxy, and we're currently on our way back to go through there again to get back to the bubble. We're trying to get off this planet now so that we can hop into the next system. Got to clear enough, got to get enough altitude so that we can get line of sight to the next target. Hop into the next system. Seems like we've got it there. We do have a typical cycle of operations that we do, which is the primary reason why I try to have a topic of discussion for all of these episodes, because it can get very repetitive just watching me fly around and scan and land and do all that stuff. So we're going to hop into a system, and then once we get there, we'll pop the discovery scanner, which will allow us to see how many bodies are in the system. If there, then we'll do a fuel scooping operation to keep our tanks topped off. Given the purple color of this star, I'm not expecting to be able to fuel on this one, and which is annoying because we did filter out those stars in the last episode. It's very annoying. So we're going to go ahead and do our discovery scanner here, and then once we're done with that and the fuel scooping, when we're in a system that has a fuel scoopable star, we'll slow down, hop into the full spectrum system scanner. We'll look for high value planets, which I have arbitrarily decided are Earth-like worlds, ammonia worlds, and water worlds. Then if there are 15-ish bodies or less, we'll do a full-on scan of the system to see if there are any biological signatures. There are 24 bodies in this one, which is too many. 15 is an arbitrary number that I've just decided is a nice balance between spending a lot of time scanning versus actually making distance in towards our destination. So, intro complete to the topic of the day. Time management is one of those things that I think most of us really are. Seriously, dude, okay, I need to go back to my galaxy map and check it again, because I specifically set my filter for my route to have only fuel scoopable stars, and I did not have this I don't recall having this problem on our way out here, so I don't understand why now all of a sudden we're having an issue with this. So let's hop into our galaxy map here. Let's go back to our... Yeah, that's... Oh, because it didn't apply to the filter of the route. Oh, crap. Okay. Then, okay. Well, then since I have to do this anyways, let's just double check and make sure. Apply the filter to the route. We're going to go back to that. I don't want to damage my ship too much with the jet cone boosts there, so, well, you know what? Screw it. So now we need to hop down over to, like, right here and see if we can get the route set up over here. And hopefully we're past that. So I was having an issue trying to get a route plotted because it was trying to take me through a section of space that required a permit. So 149 jumps. So there's only 7 bodies in here. Let's go ahead and do a full-on scan of the system. There's only icy bodies here. You know what? We're not going to waste our time with it. Icy bodies will not have very interesting biological things to find. So we're just going to go ahead and move on. Okay, so as I was saying, time management is one of those things that I think most of us really struggle with, because there's only so much time in the day and there's so many different things that we want to do. It sometimes becomes very difficult to try to figure out how you're going to prioritize whatever it is that you're doing. So there's a couple of ways you can handle this problem. You can either make a list of the things that you want to get done and decide which ones you're going to do based off of how long you think it's going to take you to get them done, or you can figure out ways to streamline each of the things that you want to do and try to get everything done in the same amount of time. So if you can figure out how to work faster, then you can typically get a lot more done and you know, get more of the things that you want rather than having to sacrifice different things. Now, the problem with that is that just like most things in the world, anytime you start rushing yourself through things, you're going to start experiencing a balance, or what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say a balance, a trade-off between quality versus quantity of stuff to get done. There's a reason why they say quality versus quantity, and that's because that's a real thing. That's something you always have to be thinking about. Biological 2 on a high metal content world. We will definitely be checking that guy out. If you look up at the top right corner of the screen where it says features, you can see biological. We want at least 2 on a body, and because it's a high metal content world, it's a very high likely that it's going to be our favorite stratum tectonicus. So we'll definitely be heading over there. It's another biological on that one, but it was only 1. I want to find at least 2 biological signatures on a body before I commit to going to scan and spend all that time doing that. So we're going to ignore that one. Let's continue coming down over here. Another biological 1. Nothing there. Nothing there. Got 2 more bodies on this one. And it's going to be this guy here and this guy here. All right, so cool. Let's go ahead and get ourselves targeted on this guy, get our Super Cruise Assist set up. We'll get locked in on him, and then we'll continue talking about time management. And there we go. 5,000 light seconds is about half the distance of what I typically would put the limit at. I have a 10,000 light second limit on super cruising within a system, just because, just like my 15 body limit for scanning, there needs to be some kind of a limit that you place on yourself so you're not wasting a bunch of time doing things and spending too much time in one system. So anyways, as I was saying, there's a reason why they have the old saying quantity versus quality, because you can almost never have both, especially if you're by yourself and you don't have the ability to just add more resources to make things go faster. So obviously in the business world, they have this like triad of things that they talk about, and it's cost versus quality versus time. And you can have 2 out of the 3. You can you can have things fast and cheap and have low quality, or you can have things fast and good and spend a lot of money, but you can't have all 3 at the same time. You have to pick 2 out of the 3. And when you're by yourself, you basically only have the 2 options, and you have to pick one. You can either take a long time and do a good job on whatever it is that you're doing, or you can rush through it to try to get more things done, but you have to accept the fact that the quality of whatever it is that you're doing is going to be less. So for my channel anyways, I have chosen the quantity route because especially at this early phase in my YouTube career, assuming it ever actually becomes a career, the ability to grab attention is not necessarily that easy to do. And until I can get to the point where I have a wide enough net that shifting over to focusing on quality is actually going to make a difference when I'm competing with so many other people, I choose to focus on just pumping out as many videos as I can, hoping that the total number of views that I get spread across all of those videos adds up to something. So that's kind of my approach to the YouTube thing, and the reason I bring that up is that, you know, every episode I do is an exercise in time management. So I have 4 right now. I'm back to doing about 4 videos per day. Fortunately, 3 out of the 4 videos are basically videos that I can do straight through. I don't have to spend a lot of extra time in between doing things. So for example, my hunting videos that I do have a lot of off-screen time where I'm basically walking from place to place, and then I just press record when something interesting is about to happen. Now, to get a 20 to 30 minute video out of that, I have to do 45 minutes to an hour of actual playing the game and, you know, getting myself into those situations, because it just takes time to get that done. So that's one of those things where I've chosen a game that isn't necessarily the best from a time management perspective, because a lot of the time that I'm spending in the game is not being recorded. It's basically just wasted. I don't want to say wasted time, but it's not directly adding to the length of my video. So that's something you always have to keep in mind, are the details of things like that, which is why one of the reasons why I gave up the farming simulator game is because it was a second game where a good portion of what I was doing was not being captured, and, you know, it wasn't interesting enough to be captured. So, you know, again, I would have to spend, you know, 45 minutes to an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get 20 to 30 minutes worth of video. And that's just not a very optimal use of your time when you're trying to do multiple videos a day. I'm not at the point yet where I can reasonably decide that I am going to just put out a limited number of videos that are of higher quality and expect my reach to get to enough people where that additional quality is going to make a difference. Until I can get to the point where I can get the reach of my channel out to where I can scale back and actually have quality videos that people sit and watch for longer, I'm kind of stuck where I am. Okay, so we're going to hop out of that. We're going to switch over to this view so that I can see the sun's, the lit up side of the planet. We're going to head over to this side so that we can make sure that we're going to land in a nice lit up area, because I hate searching for this stuff in the dark. Then we'll get down to the planet and hopefully find ourselves some stratum tectonicus, which if we can get first footfall, which I'm assuming we will get for this because, everything out here, most of the stuff out here hasn't been explored yet, we can get a cool 90 million credits, which is going to be pretty sweet. So I'm going to head like this, I think. And then we can switch back over to this view to make sure that we're going to land in a spot that's going to have what we're looking for. And I'm going to head down like that. We'll slow down as much as we can. Slowly bring the throttle back up because, of course, they want us to manually control everything on the way down instead of having the flight control computer just do it for you. I will complain about that every single time because it just irritates me that they want us to do all of this stuff by hand. It's really irritating. All right, down we go, finding some stratum. So anyways, I don't bring up my channel as something where I'm just, I bring up my channel because, as I've said in a previous video, anytime you're trying to explain a concept, providing an example, it just gives gives the listener a much more intuitive understanding of the concept that you're trying to go over. So that's my example. I'm using that as my example because it's an example that's personal to me, and it's easier for me to use that as an explanation. Here we go, stratum tectonicus. That is what stratum tectonicus looks like. So we just made ourselves another 90 million credits. It's super exciting. So we'll grab this, get the other 2 samples, and then we'll grab the bacteria on the planet. And we'll see how we're doing on time. I have a feeling we might not have enough time to move on, which is fine because this topic isn't really that long, and making a slightly shorter video isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. So yeah. So I bring up my channel as primarily an example of and any time I bring up my channel is usually as an example of whatever concept it is that I'm trying to talk about, because I do better when somebody gives me an example, and I think most people do, because it kind of cements the idea in your mind when you can see the concept that is being discussed in action. So specifically when it comes to, like, this video right now is primarily an exercise in time management, first and foremost, above everything else, because I'm always looking over at the time of the video and trying to gauge how quickly I talk and how quickly I move through a topic, so that hopefully by the time I've exhausted babbling about that topic for the day, we're pretty close to the 20-minute mark at the very least, and I can feel pretty comfortable about just ending the episode. And it's a little bit difficult to do that because you have to be willing. You have to be careful about. What am I trying to get to? You have to be careful about not rushing too much. You have to be okay with allowing some pauses to happen. You also have to be okay with allowing the events in the game to kind of interrupt you, and try to do your best to keep your place in whatever it is that you're talking about so that you can return to your point when you're ready to return to your point. And just, kind of pace yourself in a way that allows you to hopefully naturally flow through the topic and drag the topic out basically until you feel like you're done talking about it. Now, fortunately for me, I spent a lot of time as a United States Marine in a public relations field. The music field is basically the Marine Corps' most public-facing organization. And I had to spend a lot of time doing public speaking and stuff like that. So I have a lot of experience, talking in a formal capacity such as this, where I'm conveying information of some kind. In the Marine Corps, it was talking about our music program, and here in the real world, it's just talking about whatever topic it is that I'm talking about. And then I think 99% of my ability to speak extemporaneously comes from the fact that I spend a lot of time having to do it for real as a United States Marine. Now, I did take college classes, and those college classes did require us to do formal presentations for different topics. Pretty much every class that I took required some kind of get up and talk in front of people, primarily because I was doing a business degree, and you got to be able to talk to people for that. I do have a bachelor's degree in business, a lot of good that it ever did me. It has literally provided me with absolutely no advantage as far as finding any kind of a job. Big waste of time. But I didn't take it very seriously anyway, so the only reason I really went to only real reason I went to college was the fact that my GI Bill paid for it, number one, and I got a housing allowance because of the kind of GI Bill that I had, number two, which was actually the real reason because it paid for my housing, and I only had to go once a week, and I didn't really have to mess with it too much. It was just something that I did in my off time. Anyways, I always get sidetracked like that. But, that's another part of the time management. Sometimes allowing yourself to get sidetracked, especially when you're doing a continuous talking presentation such as this, is a good way to pad out your time, and without making it too boring and without making it obvious that you're padding out your time. I don't necessarily look for ways to pad out my time, but I'm not above allowing those things to step in and distract from the conversation a little bit. And that's for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, as I said, it does make it easier to hit that 20-minute mark when you're trying to, get things done. But also, switching up the topic of conversation for a brief moment allows the listener to have a little bit more variety in whatever it is that's going on. So when I stop to talk about something in the game, that's a little bit of variety. And when I have a little bit of a distracting moment where I lose track of what I'm talking about, that's also a little bit of an interesting change of direction moment. So, time management is just one of those things that most of us don't naturally have, and it's something that you kind of have to work on. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. Same with public speaking, being able to get up in front of people, or even just get on YouTube like this and, talk extemporaneously, which is the most effective way to talk to people. It comes with practice. You're not gonna be good at it at first. You're gonna suck at it really hard at first, but the more you do it, the less nervous you're gonna be, and the more confident. Especially if you're confident about whatever it is you're talking about. That's like the biggest thing. If you can be confident, if you're confident in your knowledge of the subject or whatever it is you're talking about, that makes it 10 times easier to do what I'm doing right now. Which is why I pick topics that I know a lot about, because I can sit here and babble about it for 15, 20, 30 minutes, and I don't have the nervousness of feeling like, oh man, somebody's going to call me out because I don't know what I'm talking about. No, I talk about things I know I know about, so that makes it easier. But anyways, I think we're going to go ahead and call that a day. We don't really have enough time to go and find more samples, and we're already landed on a planet, which is where I like to end my episode. So hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click the like button if you did, so that the YouTube algorithm will know and send the video out to as many people as possible. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing now, so that when the next video comes out, it will show up in your feed, and you will be able to watch it as soon as it becomes available. Channel members get early access to all of my content, so be sure to click the join button, check out the list of options available there, and decide if any of those are right for you. If you're not interested in a continuing membership, you can leave YouTube's version of a tip with that thanks button. Direct contributions are greatly appreciated and a critical component to helping to turn this channel into a full-time gig, which is the dream. So again, thank you very much for your time. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We're going to pad this episode out for just a little bit longer, talking about that time management, because as I look at my clock, we still have about 20 seconds before we reach that fabled 20-minute mark. And, you know, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. So again, thank you very much for your time. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Be sure to come back for the next one, and I'll see you then. 3, 2, 1. There it is.